Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Good morning. Welcome to XFM. This is Josh Widdicombe on Saturday morning. How are we? Good. And joined, as always, by producer Neil.
Good morning.
Yeah? You laughed then, as if I thought I'd respond to the listeners, presumably had responded to me, hadn't they?
Well, you're just answering your own question, effectively.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone positive, though. I could have gone, how are we? Oh, that's a shame. Maybe you should, turn off the radio and leave the house if that's the case. I'm trying to do good for the station. How has your week been?
My week has been all right, actually. Yeah, just busy. Busy as normal, Josh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No particular highlights this week.
We should have discussed this beforehand.
Yeah, sorry.
You should have said, you can ask me anything, but don't ask me how my week has been. Genuinely, that is an area you don't want to go into at this point on the radio.
Got some new shorts.
You got some new shorts?
Yeah.
Oh, denim?
Denim.
Who are you, Bewitched?
No, I'm Danny from the script.
Danny, are you Danny from the script?
Yep.
Is it only Irish denim references that we're doing?
Isn't that the theme of today's show?
The Edge, he wears a lot of denim, doesn't he? I'd picture the Edge in denim.
He must have done at some point.
Yeah.
Isn't one of the famous YouTube videos, isn't Bono wearing a denim waistcoat as well?
I mean, almost certainly. They've done enough videos that by the law of averages, Do we like Bono? No, really.
I'm indifferent.
Indifferent? Mm-hmm. I'd say he's quite a difficult man to be indifferent to.
Really?
I mean, I'm not breaking new ground on this. You're looking at me as if to go, I can't believe someone's having a go at Bono. I don't mean to break it to you, Neil. Bono's quite an unpopular figure.
Oh.
Sorry. But Bewitched, on the other hand, their popularity holds to this day. Let's just stop the talk of popular Irish denim wearers and move on with the show.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
So, how are you, Neil? You're good. That's not what we're here to talk about. We know what happened last time. Got you two's lawyers on our ass. There was a couple of things I wanted to talk about this week. That sounds like I've actually got issues. What I mean is, the show I want to talk about on the show.
Okay.
And it just so happens you're here, along with the listeners, of course, hopefully. Two things. Number one, I picked up the piece of paper then with them listed on, and it made much more of a sound than I anticipated. So as if people have gone... I'm doing that now a bit more so that it feels like I'm more pre-prepared for the show than I am. Let me just go through my folder of ideas. A couple of things. Well, the first one is we're going to be joined after 11 by Pappies, who are a sketch trio that have now got their own sitcom on BBC Three. Are you aware of BBC Three, or are you slightly too old?
No, I know what BBC Three is.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you watch it?
It's one before BBC Four.
It is the one before BBC Four. Do you watch BBC Four?
I do on occasion if there's a good music documentary.
Yeah.
But I watch BBC Three as well.
I mean, no one's turning down a music documentary with Stuart McConey and David Quantick as talking heads, are they? I mean, that's Britpop Britannia. Is that one of them? They always do their Britannia documentaries. Mm-hmm. We've all seen them. Skiffle Britannia. That was... Dubstep Britannia was one of my favourites. Two things we wanted to talk about. One, because of their show, which we will come to after 11. Let me not, let's keep my powder dry on this one. But childhood gangs. And that sounds a lot harsher than when we were first talking about this. What I mean by this is where you're in a kind of a gang with a name as a kid. Mm-hmm. And what did you do? What we're not looking for here is ASBO-related anecdotes.
Crime free.
Yeah, that's our slogan of the show, isn't it? So, childhood gangs. I just adopted a really bad position on my chair there. Probably because of the discomfort of thinking about how awkward it is if we're soliciting for things about gangs beating people. It's not the Warriors. We're not looking for people who are in the Warriors. More Warriors in a WORRIES kind of way is what we're looking for. Basically, we've been... Well, you've put it on Facebook as well, haven't you? I
did put this on Facebook. Yeah. Not a lot of response this week on Facebook.
No, Facebook took off last week. Not as a concept.
The Facebook.
Yeah. But it was on Twitter as well. On Twitter it went. We've okayed these. The other thing we wanted to talk about, we were discussing a topic that we think it's probably the end of the school year. We think it's close. Mm-hmm. Neither of us know. So, Sports Day humiliation. 3 words. That's all you need to know. Essentially, with the subject of Sports Day humiliation, if we're not playing into James Acaster's hands in the final hour, I don't know what is. I wouldn't say I had Sports Day humiliation. We went to a school. Me and all the other students, not me and Neil. I went to a tiny school. I won the dressing up race 2 years in a row. This was at primary school, obviously. Did you do the dressing up race?
I never took part. I wasn't selected for that, but I remember kind of being a keen observer.
I don't know why I was good at it. I think it was the multitasking, because other people would go one item at a time. I was thinking, put on the Barber jacket while you're putting on the wellies. Don't be idiots. So I didn't have humiliation as such. I wish I did, because it would kind of get this off to when you're a natural sportsman, it's very difficult. Like myself. So, they're the subjects on this week's show, amongst other things.
Josh Widdicombe.
XFM. Two things we'll talk about today. One, Sports Day humiliation. Two, were you in a childhood gang? Once again, not in that kind of harsh way. Basically, we know what the demographic of the XFM listener is. There's going to be no one who was in a harsh childhood gang. Neil?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember being in any specific gang. Me and my mates used to go and play football, and there was no terminology for that as a... Couldn't put brackets around it.
No. Brackets?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that was a thing in childhood gangs. the use of, sub-clauses.
And then Sports Day humiliation. The only one I can think of is, at my primary school, we all our houses were in different colours.
Yeah, what were they named after?
I think it was trees.
Trees.
I think I was part of Ash House.
Ash House.
Yeah.
Good solid.
Yeah. And our colour was yellow.
Oh, I was yellow.
All right. I'm glad we've got that in common.
Small world. Yeah.
But the only thing I can think of is in each year, you had to dress in the colour of your house.
Right. And your house at school, not your house.
Not your house at home. No. And as a boy...
That would be a great fancy dress party. Dress as your own house.
You could spot the... mansions.
Yeah. It's actually a very fair one, because if you live in a bigger house, you can afford a bigger costume. So it's kind of like it rewards, it works economically. I think it's quite a good fancy dress party.
Anyway, where were we? Yeah, sorry.
Excellent if you live on a narrow boat. That would be the best outfit. You're on an absolute winner there.
The story was basically I'd never had any yellow clothes.
No, of course not.
No. So the only thing my mum could find was a pair of green shorts that had a tiny yellow slither, and I was basically an outcast for wearing the wrong colour for my house.
Did you not get moved into the greenhouse? Not the greenhouse. That would be the worst outfit, obviously, for the fancy dress party, because you're essentially becoming naked. So, well, we've got more of them. Maybe, I've looked at them, Neil. They're a lot more kind of... By humiliation, they're actual humiliations. They're not just wearing the wrong colour shorts. The problem is that's next week's text, and you've already ruined your story. When have you worn the wrong colour shorts?
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast XFM.
As always, at this point, that's become the catchphrase leading into it. I feel a bit... He picked me up on it last time. I'm dreading him picking me up on it again. It's our news hound, Joe Lycett.
Good morning, Josh. Good morning, listeners. Isn't it lovely and clement?
Yes, it is lovely and clement. Let's move on to the news.
We're doing a news from the archives this week, Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Let me take you back to 1969.
Oh, the summer of love? Was that 67?
Well, sounds a bit lovey, doesn't it? It's 1969, and if you look up in the sky, you might see a little speck, and that is an aircraft or a spacecraft which is about to land the first men on the moon.
Oh, I've never heard about this. Yes. Tell me more.
You've never heard about it? They've got on the moon, mate. We've been on it.
What happened?
We run the moon now. Who runs the moon? We do. Basically, this dude called Neil Armstrong got on the moon this time in 1969, and he said the famous catchphrase, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," which is the sort of thing I say when I go on stage in Stockton.
He didn't mean to say that. Did you know that, Neil?
I did.
Yeah.
What did he mean to say?
It's that's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind.
That doesn't really ring as well, really, does it? I'm quite glad he messed it up. Because you know that it's not going to talk about, like, if you say one small step for man, that's fine, isn't it? Don't punish yourself so much, Neil.
He's a perfectionist.
Give yourself a break, mate. You've just gone to the moon.
What happened when he was on the moon?
Him and Buzz Aldrin sort of hung around for a couple of hours, did a few Instagrams, that kind of thing. they were on telly as well, so I don't know if it was live telly. You've done that before. It's pressured, isn't it?
It is.
They did any...
I imagine they did quite a lot of prep.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it look unrehearsed, but they've been through the script. Don't worry about that.
Yes, they did that. And there's obviously lots of people are saying that it's faked as well. Still, people think that it actually happened in an American studio.
Are we still talking about the moonlion thing or the last leg?
Bit of both, really. You've never actually been to wherever it's filmed, have you?
No, Riverside Studios.
Riverside Studios. The guy I feel sorry for is Michael Collins. Have you ever heard of Michael Collins?
No.
He's the dude that was in the mothership that was basically orbiting round the moon, didn't actually get on the moon. He's like someone's dad waiting outside the house.
Just pointing at his watch.
They said they'd be ready by now. Yeah. So nobody's heard of him, really. I had to Google him, Michael Collins, and he was in the mothership.
Such a generic name as well. Poor guy.
I know. Really, and he's still alive, because I think... Is Buzz Aldrin still alive?
Joe, you're the person that's meant to have done the research.
Well, I've done some minor Googling.
Neil Armstrong's dead.
Neil Armstrong, we know, is dead. One thing I love about Neil Armstrong, don't know if you know this, he would tell really long and laborious jokes about being on the moon, and then when there was no punchline, he would go, "Oh, you had to be there." Isn't it?
Did he actually do that?
Yeah, apparently so. That's what he used to do.
What a card.
It's a nice thing, isn't it?
That is, do you know what? For the first time, you've been doing this for quite a few months. I'm going to say this. You've shed new light on a subject.
Hurrah! Yes, I knew I could do it.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Have a good one.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast XFM.
Producer Neil just signalled to someone out the door with what looked like... I presumably you meant 2 minutes rather than... Because for a moment I thought Neil would put his fingers up in a hope for peace.
It was a 2 minutes, yeah.
It was 2 minutes, good.
I wasn't throwing out gang signs.
Yeah,
and stuff.
It wasn't. George Bush wasn't walking past, and you weren't making a point about his. Another topical reference on XFM on a Saturday morning. Really? Harold Macmillan was walking past the window. He made a point about. Anyway, it wasn't Harold Macmillan, was it?
No, it wasn't.
No, good for you. Because I'd have a bloody word with him about his appeasement of Adolf Hitler. That's what I'd do straight away. We knew he was a bad egg, Harold. What was your problem? Anyway, we're not talking about that this morning. It's the last thing Harold Macmillan needs. When he's gone, do you know what? I want to hear some indie tunes and forget about the Second World War. I mean, obviously he's dead, presumably.
I don't know.
He must be. He was about 70 at the time, wasn't he?
Okay, he's got to be, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now we're talking this morning about 3 things, aren't we? Appeasement of dictators is number 1. We've covered that. Move on. The second one, we've got a text in from Chris Rodwell. Chris Rodwell, not a text, it's a tweet. It's good to be transparent on these things. Mm-hmm. We don't want the radio broadcasting standards to come down on us like a ton of bricks. You know how I like it when someone tweets on both subjects and then I drop the piece of paper on the floor. I mean, disaster. You know I like it when someone tweets on both subjects and I feel, also, the reason I'm reading out Chris Rodwell now is you told what I can only describe as a tepid anecdote about shorts. And in fact, you brought up shorts twice today. Your first link, you brought up your own shorts. Then you told an anecdote about an old pair of shorts.
Favourite item of
So
clothing.
I thought, seeing as Chris Rodwell, seeing as you're shorts obsessed, you'd enjoy Chris Rodwell's... on sports days, he's got... I forgot my shorts on sports day. Had to borrow the spares that were way too big and fell down mid-race. So that's a shorts anecdote, Neil. If you want a shorts anecdote, you know where you go? Rodwell, straight away. Bang, dealt with. Presumably not the dressing up race, the race that I won 2 consecutive gold medals in. Also on gangs. This kind of sets the tone, because, we're not looking for people that said when I was a kid I was in the Black Panthers. What we're looking for is, I was also part of the Wally gang, dedicated to reading the Beano. There was once a coup which resulted in the Wally Wars. What I like about this gang one is I do get the feeling that it's going to raise more answers than raise more questions than answers with everyone. Because the Wally Wars. Also, we don't know how old Chris Rodwell is. All we know really is his childhood was after the invention of shorts and the Beano. But presumably, the Wally gang would have been into Where's Wally? That's what you'd think. There was no Wally character in the Beano, was there?
I was never a big Beano reader.
No, me neither, because I didn't grow up in the 1940s. Do you know what would have happened if I had grown up in the 1940s? I had a strong word with Harold McMillan. That's what would have happened.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Hives, hate to say I told you so on XFM. Did you find the Hives, Neil? From when they ripped up the rule book by wearing white ties over black shirts. The world was never the same again, was it? This morning, we are talking about... that sounded like I didn't like the Hives. Let's make it clear, I enjoyed the Hives. I just thought, what the hell are you wearing? Well, I mean, I know it's dark a lot of the year in Sweden, but don't... Put the light on when you're getting dressed. Sam Hudson has tweeted in, I'm having a nightmare with paper this morning. It's just going everywhere. It's because we're tightly packed in due to the fact we've got too many guests. Got more guests than paper. Obviously, normally I have a music stand for my notes. One of the things to talk about was a topic we just called Sports Day Humiliations. I think that sums it up. Sam Hudson. See, this is a Sports Day humiliation now. I hope to keep banging this away. Sam Hudson, well, I don't know if this was. I mean, well, you'll be the judge of that. Was in last place in the cross-country, so I pretended to twist my ankle. Sat in hospital A&E for 4 hours to keep up the story. Now, I don't know how... What the... Because if you're in last place anyway, so twisting your ankle, people are still going to know you were last when you twisted your ankle.
But it leaves that thing at the back of people's minds that he could have come through.
Oh, right, yeah, that he was biding his time. Or that, the ankle was quite weak anyway, so that was holding him back.
Exactly.
I do like the idea. What I don't like is he hasn't given an ending, because surely he got through to A&E and they went, there's nothing wrong.
Well, if it's just a twist, then surely they just put maybe kind of ice or a package on it. They couldn't maybe tell.
What kind of package? Like a kind of jiffy bag? It's just like,
I meant bandage.
I record. I've just touched something that's kind of wet under the arm of my chair. That is not wet, but more greasy, like kind of. It's not, but it felt like Vicks Vapor Rub. That's what I'm going to say. But it doesn't smell like it, so it's not like the chair's got a bad chest. I mean that's a Sports Day disaster I've just had there completely. I mean that'll be a tweet in next week. What have you touched under the arms of chairs?
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
That was Diane Young by Vampire Weekend, joined now by James Acaster.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. The way you said that as if I'd have joined Vampire Weekend.
Would you? If asked?
Just for a laugh, yeah. Just for a weekend, like Reading and Leeds.
Just for a Vampire Weekend.
Yeah.
Also joined by Pappies, to make that clear. Hello. Hello. There's been a lot of hellos, but let's move on.
We hate goodbyes, Jeff.
How are you, James?
Pretty good, yeah, pretty good. Thank you.
You weren't here last week?
Wasn't. Sorry about that.
What were you? Maybe on Absolute Radio?
Sitting in a paddling pool, loving it.
On Absolute Radio?
No. Oh, yeah.
They're really struggling now for ideas.
It's Miss Me and Nick Hancock in the paddling pool. chatting about cricket.
Well, I'd listen to that. What are you doing in the paddling pool?
Just visiting my sister and her nephew, my nephew. Her nephew would be like my son.
I mean, and did you bring your own paddling pool?
Just brought it along. I said, I haven't got a tap at my house, so I have to visit other people.
It's just full of rainwater.
Yeah.
So what are you wearing in the paddling pool? I don't know.
This is a bit intimate all of a sudden.
Well, it needn't be. Depends what you're wearing.
you know I wear a mankini or whatever. I just rolled my jeans up, right? What? What's wrong with that?
Did you let your nephew into the paddling pool?
He was allowed in, yeah. He was there splashing about. He had loads of those plastic balls that you get in ball pools. He was splashing them around. He was having a whale of a time.
Big decorum, mate. Some of us are trying to paddle in our jeans. Were you literally paddling in the paddling pool?
I wasn't actually paddling. I was using it more like a foot spa. But with all the chucking around of all the plastic balls, it created a bit of flow and bubbles.
A foot spa powered by a child?
Yes.
What kind of a monster are you?
Well, you should see my hairdryer.
Go on then. Enlighten us.
It's just a string of kids, one after the other, blowing on my hair in a queue. They just move around. They've all got tickets like look at a deli, and the number gets called. It's their turn.
I think we should move on.
Up to you.
What we'll do, you know what, James? I was going to talk to you about the subject, so I feel we've come to a natural impasse in the conversation.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast XFM.
The Wannadies, you and me on XFM. Who was it who described it as a beast there?
It is a beast. That's a beast of a song. It's
It
great,
is.
isn't it?
Is that your favourite song, Matthew?
It was actually the theme of the Please Don't Hate Matthew Crosby gang. It was actually Me and Me I used to sing. Me and Me always and forever.
No, James, we have two topics today. Either tickle your fancy. I haven't used that phrase ever before.
No, never.
Shall I take you through them? Sports Day humiliation, surely.
I once carried on running.
Forrest Gump style.
Yeah. I didn't look up during the race. I looked down at my feet because I was so scared.
You're wearing
of getting
such
it wrong.
good shoes.
Yeah, I was wearing my running shoes, and I was just like, keep your eye on that. And so I was running really fast, and then I looked up at the moment that I ran through a goal. You know, like on the playing field.
Like Mario Kart.
Luckily, the net wasn't up. But I ran through, then turned back, and everyone else were dots in the distance, and I didn't even win. That's the really embarrassing thing. We didn't even make it on the podium.
Oh, that's going to take some beating. Childhood gangs? Were you in any?
Yeah, two at different times, different schools.
Were they
I got
rival
kicked out the
gangs?
first one because the first gang got so leery I had to go to a different school. First gang.
Just for a point of reference, if anyone can see James Acaster, that's clearly a joke.
The first gang was a crime-solving gang.
Any
And-
cases cracked?
Yeah, one. Which was when Rihanna, which is not the Rihanna.
No. Who stole her
Had her
umbrella?
umbrella stolen. She had a chocolate bar stolen from her lunchbox, and so we were questioning all the kids in my class as to whether they'd seen
you
anyone
have-
eat
did
a
you
Bloomer
have-
band.
Do you have the kind of the rights to do that?
We didn't. Like, it was our
you have a
jurisdiction.
warrant?
Did you have a warrant?
We did, yeah, it was like, you can't search my bag, haven't got a warrant to go back to the teacher. No, we're just going round, doing it on the down low. Seeing all the kids in the corner going, look, we're not going to, if you tell us who did it, we're not going to give any names, no one will know. And then eventually someone said they'd seen Anthony eating a Bloomer band in the canteen. And
I mean, I
and he
like that
normally-
reference so much I just walked into a stall.
But he never had packed lunch, Anthony. And we're like, well, where'd you get a Bloomer band then? So we went up to him. We also found the wrapper under a picnic table in there. Yeah, and we were like, evidence. And
That's not evidence, because that doesn't link it to Anthony unless he's a...
we were 6. So at the time it was evidence. And then on the way home, he confessed on the way home.
You should have teamed up with Matthew because he's got an access all the areas. You guys would have been unbeatable.
got anywhere.
That's amazing. What was your second gang?
The Rubber Gang, which is not what it sounds like. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry is the worst thing to say.
Don't you worry, it's not something you should ever say to a girl. China, I'm James. Don't you worry, president of the Rubber Gang.
As you were.
So what happened in the Rubber Gang?
Collected erasers and drew faces on them. That was one of the things we drew little cartoon faces. So they're like little their personalities of their own, and we kept them in a punch and repair kit box. As me and my friend Joe Devlin.
Yeah.
And
Were
so
the-
we'd keep them.
Were the Rubbers members of the gang? Was it like you, Joe, and the
Me, Joe
Rubbers?
Devlin, and all the Rubbers would join the gang. And it
So were
was-
you an honorary rubber?
Yeah, I was head rubber.
King of the rubbers?
Joe Devlin, very much. I mean, you might mind me saying this, Vice President Rubber.
Well, thank you very much. Genuinely, about what I expected from James Akers.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Let's just make clear who's in the room. Pappies, I'll go through you by name. Ben,
Hello.
Matthew,
Hello.
Tom,
Present incorrect.
and producer Neil.
Morning.
He's not in the room, he's down the road.
Running back from the Starbucks.
I mean, we've never
I'm
recorded.
signing autographs. Chopper.
We've never recorded in a smaller room, but you've never sounded further away. And James Acaster. So, I mean, take it away, really.
Oh yeah, classic. Yep. Okay, this one.
Don't. Oh yeah.
Sorry. Well, normally you give him a little bit.
Oh,
of background.
do you want a little background?
This
A bit of
time I was like,
background
oh,
is you know, how would you describe it, Neil, from a distance?
James's life is one big mistake.
Oh my God. It's come to this.
Now, James each week will relay a scrape. Is it a current scrape? Is it a week?
This is an archive. I was 16.
Archive scrape. Oh, dipping into the archives.
This is the most rebellious I've ever tried to be my whole life. So me and my friend Matthew was about 4 years older than me and had a car. It's me, him, another friend called James, who's called James Bug. It's called Buggy.
Yeah.
And my friend Sean. And when Matthew got the car, instead of like driving around being like proper rebels and stuff, we would get an atlas and open it on a page and choose a village in Northamptonshire we'd never heard of. Behaviour.
Were you in the National Trust? Just like a childhood gang?
We might as well have been. But we decided, this is lame, we decided we'd steal a road sign.
The anger of privileged youth.
Yeah. Not like a fold-out, bolted on, we're going to steal it proper, and we're just going to really mess people's lives up. So, went out in the dead of the night in the car, and eventually we chose, you know, signs that let people know that it's a footpath and a cycle path. And it's got a little picture of a man and a bike in a blue. So we took them from a footpath that had one of them every 100 yards or so. So if we stole one of them, there's mild confusion for like the middle bit. If someone gets caught, if a pedestrian is at that exact point and a cyclist overtook them, they go and then 100 yards later, be like, that was okay. let that go. Oh, and we filmed it.
Oh, first mistake.
Now we filmed.
What on? This would have been quite a while ago.
Yeah,
we have a massive camera.
a camcorder that we used to take. We used to go around filming. At that point, it just had footage of lovely villages.
Who are you, John Craven?
Yeah, pretty much. Because us in lovely villages walking around going, look at that thatch. And that's the village Bobby. Stuff like that, waving at him. Yeah. So we're filming we're a night vision setting. So we had that on, so everything was green and whatever. And I was the one filming, that was my job.
All right.
Matthew, getaway driver. Sean and Buggy were stealing the sign.
Yeah.
And
were you nervous?
Yeah, really. The camera's shaking. The whole thing, this wobbly cam for the whole thing. It was really tense. There was one point in the filming where Buggy thought a passing car was a police car until he ran and fell into a ditch. and we genuinely had a discussion afterwards. Let's send it into You've Been Framed, and then decided we can't because we'll probably instantly get arrested for our criminal behaviour.
250 quid wouldn't be very good when you're inside.
You won't make bail out of that. Not all four of us. 250 quid.
I won't get you many snouts.
On the footage is James running into the car, and all of us can't express how happy all of us were, and then we put on the song Movies by Alien Ant Farm. We put that on really loud, and then we're all singing to it in the car. Like,
is
really
this still on video?
Yeah, this is still on video, and like really loving it that we're listening to movies and holding this cyclist and pedestrian sign up to the camera and pointing at it and being like, yeah, and just proper like really getting into it. We thought it was brilliant, and then a year later, Matthew had a get-together around his house. By this point, he had a job that involved working with ladies, and ladies came round who worked at his workplace.
Yeah, we've heard about them.
Yeah, well, we hadn't at that point. I was 17, and this was like a big deal, and actually doing quite well chatting to the ladies until Sean got too drunk and said to one of the girls, "I'll tell you what you'd really like, it's pretty impressive," and he got the camcorder, linked it up to the TV we didn't know, none of us knew this.
Yeah.
And then we turned round to seeing all the sexy ladies watching a video of the four of us in the car going, "We did it! We did it! We got it!" And then saying, "Just like the movies." Really excited and high-fiving each other in the car, and the four of us are standing there like, we won't be kissing any of you. Well, that's clearly not going to happen.
I think that just about sums up another classic scrape, James. But I think we can all agree Neil was right.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Coming to the end Oh.
Hello.
As you were.
The last hello. When you're here to promote, you're not here out, out of the goodness of your hearts. Why would you be? You shouldn't be. You're here to promote.
If you'd have asked us, we'd have come in.
Well, you did ask us, and we did. So,
But I like to go through official channels. Your official channel being BBC Three at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. God, that was slick.
Well, it's 10 p.m. on a Tuesday.
9 p.m. on Wednesday is. Oh, sweat the small stuff.
Oh, you're not on Don't Tell the Bride.
I'd watch that.
So, just take me through the details.
10 p.m.
Tuesdays. BBC Three.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 episodes, 6 weeks, one a week.
Starting this week.
You still haven't used the name of it.
Oh, it's called Badults.
Oh, right, okay, good.
You can watch it on iPlayer and stuff like that as well. You know, that kind of stuff.
Tom's just got a computer, very excited about it.
Badults, I've forgotten the time again, 10 p.m. Tuesday.
10 p.m. Tuesday, starts on the 23rd.
Thank you very much for coming in.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. And James?
Yep.
Do you want to promote your Edinburgh show?
Yeah, I've got an Edinburgh show. Go and see that. It's called Lawnmower, and that also gets taken on to in the autumn.
What, the lawnmower?
Lawnmower does. Yeah. The show Lawnmower.
You say it's
In
a
the
lawnmower, it's just a load of kids doing your lawn for you.
Just eating grass. Let's hold them by that. It's like the wheelbarrow race, but.
I know. I was
messier.
told just yesterday that your show is the one to watch out for. I don't know if you meant avoid or watch.
It was a good conversation we had.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
And I hope you make it back into the studio soon.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast XFM.